Welcome back to another lively episode of I'd Lather Be Shaving with Matt Pisarcik.
And me, Douglas Smythe from PhoenixShaving.com. Today, we have a hell of a show for you. We will be systematically deconstructing the Great Depression and everything that came out of it, taking inspiration from, that's right, the Great Depression. And what do I mean by taking Great Depression? No. What do I mean by taking antidepressants? No, what do I mean by tips inspired by the Great Depression? I'll tell you what I mean. I mean shave tips inspired by the Great Depression. We'll be talking about the Goodwill safety razor by Gillette and other relevant topics related to such. That's right. All this and more on today's I'd Lather Be
What exactly is in this?
Rocket fuel.
The year's 1931, the Empire State Building is completed, Betty Boop is debuting, and Gillette is rocking their new Goodwill safety razor.
Dude, you forgot about the Locust Monster.
It was first spotted in Scotland.
It's true. The lock.
So Gillette is known today as a company that gives away free razors maybe when you turn 18, but that whole idea started with this very first set. This was the very first time Gillette did a free safety razor in entirety just for buying a pack of blades. And this was a way for them to kind of help out people during the Depression. Gillette obviously was basing most of the revenue around blade sales, and people all of a sudden were not buying safety razor blades. In fact, they were trying to think of ways to, get more out of a shave by extending the life of their razor blade. But this razor set really represents the fact that you're gonna buy a pack of 10 blades and you get this handsome gold-plated safety razor for absolutely free. So they called it the Goodwill. It almost also kind of, I don't know why, the art reminds me of like the New Deal, kind of like...
Well, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
It might have inspired the New Deal. This whole episode's about inspiration.
The new, yeah. So one other kind of interesting thing, these razors were actually just old type safety razor caps that they drilled out and reused. In fact, if you look at the base plate, it looks like the original base plate with the Made in USA and the Diamond and Air logo, and then all these patent numbers are kind of an afterthought on the other side. Wasn't being used. So it was a way for Gillette to also recycle some of their old parts. Really, they were trying to compete with Probac, which was out at the time. This was from the Valley Auto Strop company, and that was their first attempt at a double-edged razor, getting away from the single edge. And what Probac did was they kind of came up with a new way of locking out their competitors by changing the holes in the configuration.
Sneaky.
Yeah. So at the same time, Gillette really didn't, foresee Probac as a competitor. They came out with a new blade, this new configuration. The sad thing is, they didn't realize Probac had a patent already filed. And it ended up that the owners of Valley Auto Strop took majority control of Gillette Safety Razor Company, and from then on out, it was actually run by their board of directors.
They should have called it Payback instead of Probac.
Yeah, but I mean, this just represents kind of the blade wars that I always talk about that was happening in the 30s. Lots of companies were trying different things with blades. They were trying to really lock each other out.
Funny you should mention lockout. Meet the Seagull Unitary DE razor from the 1930s, Matt. This razor is captivating, mysterious, and functions with a precision more associated with the inner workings of a clock than an instrument used to scrape hair off of one's face. That's right. For those unfamiliar with the Seagull Unitary DE razor, when one turns the twist to open at the base of the handle, the lid lifts up and pivots to the side, allowing you to effortlessly slip a new blade over and into the razor.
Coolest design.
All that said, today I'm going to demonstrate how to modify a modern DE blade for your Seagull razor.
Yeah, because I mean, these things are so cool, but it's always the case, how do I end up using it?
Exactly. If you see right here, this mock blade they put in there, that's the shape you're working with,
like
folks.
Like a big whale mouth.
I get even more creative with what that looks like. But, so, tutorial time, folks. What you will need for this is a pointy tip Sharpie. Not your average Sharpie, but something with a fine tip. You're gonna need some modern blades. I recommend a blade with like glue on it.
We glued wax paper to it.
Glued wax paper. This is done so it doesn't move around during shipping and packing and keeps the blade sharp. So one with glue on it is what I recommend, but you don't necessarily need that. You will need a Seagull blade to use as a pattern. If you don't, however, I do have this online, this template that you can print up and cut out and use as your pattern for this.
And here's a link.
Nicely done. You'll also need, and I highly, highly recommend, like this is the only way to do this, in fact, is using cuticle scissors. These bent scissors are really what make this work. I've tried it with so many other scissors.
Nail clippers didn't work?
Didn't work. Nail
Okay.
clippers only work on your nails. It's true.
Well,
So,
how about those only working on cuticles?
who is this guy? Okay, so first, folks, you will need a regular pair of scissors. This is my junk drawer. And what you will do, now pay attention, since I didn't bring a blade with me, we will cut out one of my handy dandy little templates here. And we'll do this quickly.
I feel like we need some interesting music during this segment.
Cue up the tune.
It's like origami.
It is not like origami at all, but okay, look at that. It's done. Now what you want to do with the pattern is
Why don't we show the audience at home?
there we go. Notice the glue right here. Now the reason why I say these work the best is because the
Glue that
pattern
right over?
sticks to it. Yes, it sticks to it. You don't need to use Scotch tape. Now we take one of our sharp pointed markers. Doesn't necessarily need to be Sharpie brand. I just find they work the best.
Shameless plug.
Well, I did try to use a regular Sharpie, but the tip was too fat, so it really wasn't doing any good for the cause here.
So now you take off the template.
Take off the template. There you have the pattern. And the reason why we're using cuticles is because you want that bend right there. If you see, it's the same degree. And
I'm surprised how easily that's working.
again, I'll sit down in front of the TV and do like, I don't know, 20 of these and just have my blade collection fully stocked for my Seagull. Because the Seagull really does give a mean shave. And which is interesting because the original blades were a lot thicker than these.
Right.
But still gives a great shave. It's one of the closest shaves I've ever gotten, and comfortable, very comfortable, not aggressive. And you know, it's nice to be able to take a razor out of the collection and use it for what it's meant to be used for, rather than just a paperweight. Seriously, this is an open comb Seagull. This doesn't have 3 points of adjustment. We'll demonstrate on this. And
Wow. Very cool.
there you go, folks. That's how you modify a modern blade, DE blade, to use in your vintage Seagull safety razor. Just like that.
That's so cool.
Matt, get the lights. Sticking with today's theme of the Great Depression, I thought I would introduce you to this highly radioactive piece of history.
Looks like Slimer.
It does look like Slimer, doesn't it? Turn the lights on, Matt. So what we have here, folks, is a Depression-era glass strop. This was believed at the time of the Depression that this would keep your blades sharp. You could use this as a strop after the fact, after you got like 4 or 5 uses out of it, and this would put the blade back on it. There was a couple of different sharpeners around at that time, that glass, made out of glass, that were believed to do such things.
It's almost like a hone.
It is like a hone, but this is the method for this particular historical object, and for this uranium one by Glass Harp, which again, this is made out of uranium. This is really packed with
Keep it
uranium.
away.
It is highly radioactive, And the only reason why this was discontinued has nothing to do with health facts at all. It had to do with the limited amount of uranium that could be procured at the time due to the Cold War. So yes, this was used in all types of household wares, plates, cups. This was all over the place. This is how you would sharpen it. Simply putting the blade in there and going back and forth. Supposedly this would work on any piece of glass, a glass cup, whatever, but it was back and forth action, not pushing down. If you push down, that would erase the blade's edge and you wouldn't be sharpening anything, if you were sharpening anything at all. As far back as the 1933, was it Popular Mechanic?
Yeah, Mechanical Miracles.
Mechanical Miracles, one of those magazines from the 1930s, 1933, I know the date. Disprove or myth busted, if you will, the whole concept of sharpening your blade on a piece of glass. However,
Modern mechanics,
that's it. However, we here, taking a mythbuster type angle on it, want to test and show to you, or to prove whether or not this does in fact work. Because again, there are people today that still think you can sharpen or hone or strop a blade on glass. Matt, the blade.
The blade. I've used this for about a week now.
Really?
Yeah.
Like 5 days?
Yeah.
Okay, so 5 shaves. We're gonna try to get a couple more shaves out of this for Matt. Simply put it in there, slide it back and forth, not pressing down too hard. And maybe the uranium or the radiation has something to do with the sharpening. Doubt it, however.
It makes it a nuclear edge.
Look at that. It's got a new glow to it. We all do. There you go, Matt.
All right. Let's go to the bathroom and get this one a shave.
You don't seem so excited. He's gonna do it. He wasn't amped up for this at all, folks. I had to actually talk him into doing this.
Seriously.
He kept going back to, why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? I don't live here. I don't have any blades. I didn't have any used blades on me. He does.
Yep.
Just go. Go. Make this happen. I'll wait for you. Totally not gonna work.
Oh man. Well, I gave it a try.
How was it?
And I gotta say, it was pretty shit.
Well, there you have it, folks. It sucks. In
Yeah.
fact, it was shit. Or feces, depending on what word you choose to use.
Yeah, I think that if you want to get more life out of a blade, buy a new blade.
Seriously, for the price you pay for your ordinary DE blade, is it really worth this? Even during the Depression. The fact that they were milking people for their hard-earned money, selling them stuff that, yeah, it was a cash grab. Cash grab. Serious cash grab. But it is made out of uranium. That part's cool. Come on, look at that. Look at that. Slimer.
Well, this has been another episode of I Lather Be Shaving. Please like, comment, or subscribe below, and we will see you next time.
This went by so fast. I don't even believe we're done.
Well, we are.
Toodles!
See ya. Depression. Fashion.